Chapter 2. He said, "What? A new mission?" Justin asked as we walked towards the front of the school. "A new mission," I repeated. "What kind of new mission?" Eric asked. "Making friends with the new kid," I answered, trying to adjust one of my backpack straps. "With Victor," Sammy said, more as a statement than a question, while helping me fix my backpack strap. "Seems it got twisted when I put it on." "Yes, Sammy, with Victor," I confirmed, doing that little wiggle thing people do to make sure their backpack is on just right. "How is that a mission?" Paul asked, scratching his head. "Well, I started before Mrs. Kelly began making its announcement over the school speaker system. Don't forget, boys and girls, if you haven't paid for your class pictures, you have until this Friday to turn in your money. Cash or money order only. Your parents can also pay online if that is a better option. And remember, you only have to keep the pictures you want. Just turn in what you don't want to the office by this Friday. If your parents have decided that they want you to retake your pictures, you still have to turn in your picture packet by this Friday. Makeup picture day will be in 2 weeks, and that picture is final. If your parents just don't want to keep the pictures, please turn your picture packet back into this office by this Friday. After that, they will have to pay for the entire packet in full. If your parents have any questions, they can call the office or come in person. Enjoy the rest of your day." By the time she finished her announcement, we were already at the front of the school and her parents were calling for us. "Tell you guys tomorrow," I promised. When we started school the next day, Mrs. Whiston sat Victor in the empty chair next to me and was setting him up with all the necessary classroom supplies, including a tablet, while the rest of us worked on our state packets. "You'll have to read and sign this agreement before you're allowed to use the school tablets," she explained. "Your screen name is your student number and your password is your birth date." I never understood why the school made it so easy to sign into our old school equipment. I mean, all someone had to do was learn your student number and your birth date, and they could pretend to be you. Not too wise on the part of the technology leaders at the district. "I know how to log on," Victor said rudely. "It's not like this is the first time I've done this." I couldn't believe it. All Mrs. Whiston was trying to do was be helpful. He didn't have to say it like that. He didn't have to be so mean. "Very well," she said calmly, taking the freshly signed contract from Victor's desk, then placing it in her file cabinet with everyone else's contracts. "I think that now is a good time to find out what state each of you will be learning about for your state report." Mrs. Whiston pulled out the spinner that we used for bingo, but instead of balls inside, there were papers. This was going to be interesting. "Okay, class, I'm going to be pulling out papers from inside this ball spinner," she explained. "No, duh," Victor whispered loudly enough for me to hear. "Seriously, what's this guy's problem?" "I'll be going in number order to make things easy," she continued. "Victor, as our newest student, you will be number 32. This time, he didn't say anything. He just sat quietly while spinning his pencil between his fingers. It took about 10 minutes before everyone knew what state they would have to learn about for their state project. I got Idaho. Whoop-dee-doo. Besides growing potatoes, I have no idea what Idaho does. Somehow, Victor got Hawaii. Beginner's luck, I guess. "Okay, everyone," Mrs. Whiston said, placing the ball spinner back on top of one of the bookshelves. "I will now be passing out a paper that tells you everything that you will need to include in your report. You will need to research your state as part of your daily homework. I will set aside 30 minutes of class time each day so that you can work on your presentation using your tablets. In 2 weeks, you will have to do an oral presentation, casting your tablet onto the screen so that we can see all your hard work. Make sure to include your name and your state on the title screen." While passing out the papers, a reminder alarmed on Mrs. Whiston's laptop. "Oh my goodness," she said in a panicked voice. "I wasn't expecting to set up a new student in class today, so it totally threw me off my schedule." "Well, sorry," Victor commented. "Oh, sweetie, it's not your fault," Mrs. Whiston corrected herself. "That reminder just lets us know that it's time for PE. Jefferson, would you be so kind as to—" "I would be delighted," Jefferson interjected before she could finish. One of the duties of line monitor was to choose which table lined up first. Sometimes people would just choose their friend's table, but not Jefferson. We all knew what he was looking for. The same thing that Mrs. Whiston had been teaching us since kindergarten. He was looking for clean desks with people sitting up and looking straight with their hands folded. And boy, did he usually take his time choosing. We're running a little late, so let's make it quick, Mrs. Whiston instructed. I think that's the quickest the Jeffersons ever chosen the line order, Justin commented as we waited for the PE coach to finish setting up the athletic equipment. Mrs. Whiston learned that she had to give Jefferson a couple of extra minutes to choose the line order, compared to everyone else in class. Mrs. Whiston did tell him to make it quick, I pointed out. Hey guys, Marcus said, with Paul and Eric by his side. And girls, Sammy corrected. You know what he meant, Eric said, annoyed. So, are you going to tell us the new mission or what? Justin asked, throwing his hands up. Okay, I started. It's not my fault that Mrs. Kelly interrupted me last time. I know, Justin said apologetically. I'm sorry. It's just that I could barely focus in class because I was trying to figure out what it could be. Well, it's like this. Explaining the new mission took a little bit longer than I would have liked since I was once again interrupted, only this time by the PE coach. Luckily, today was more of a free day for us since there was only one coach. Usually there were two coaches, and they would split us up into two groups and teach us a skill or have us do exercises for the state examination. Today, we got to choose a station for 15 minutes before Coach Red would blow his whistle for us to switch stations. So, all we have to do is be friends with the new kid? Paul asked. Victor, I corrected. Right, Victor, he corrected himself. That's all, I assured him. That doesn't sound like much of a mission, Sammy pointed out. That's what I thought at first, I said. But Mrs. Whiston sat him next to me in class, and I already want to punch him. TJ, Marcus said, surprised. Everyone deserves a chance. It's like trying a game that's not the same. He may be new to us, but who knows? He may just be perfect TJ League material. I don't know, Eric said, agreeing with me. Come on, guys, Paul encouraged us. There's only one way to find out. Let's go ask him if he wants to join. We had to wait a few minutes for Coach Red to blow his whistle so that we could switch stations before we could ask Victor to join the TJ League. We were currently at the badminton station, and he was at the soccer dribbling station. After blowing his whistle, Coach Red announced a water break. Everyone rushed to the water fountains while I rushed to Victor. Hey, I said, jogging alongside him. Hey, he answered back. So, my friends and I wanted to invite you to join our league, I said as we reached the line for the water fountains. League? He asked, scrunching up his face. Yeah, I answered. Like your soccer league or baseball league? He questioned. Oh, no, I laughed. I'm no good at sports. Then what do you mean? The questions continued. The TJ League, I said proudly. The TJ League? He said with a tone of confusion. Isn't your name TJ? Yep, I answered. The league is named after me. I don't get it, he said. To make a long story short, I began, some of the people in the TJ League like superheroes from Marvel Comics, and some like superheroes from DC Comics. So I started the TJ League, which allows superheroes from any comic universe. And, he said, motioning with his hands for more information. And I make up scenarios and villains that we have to defeat, I explained. It helps us to work on our teamwork and problem-solving skills while improving our real-time responses to real-life situations. So, basically, you play pretend, Victor pointed out. Not really, I countered. But it sounds like it's all make-believe, he shot back. Not really, I started, but was interrupted for the third time today. But superheroes aren't even real, he said adamantly. They're dumb and unrealistic. They are not, I protested. What are you, 5? Sure they are. Have you ever heard of a real-life superhero? Well, once again, I was interrupted, and it was really starting to irritate me. Of course you haven't. Because they don't exist, Victor said with a finishing tone. That doesn't mean you need to take your head out of the clouds and grow up, he ordered as he took a drink of water and headed back to the field. I knew it was my turn to drink water, but I was so frustrated that I just stood there, silently glaring at the back of Victor's head. After realizing that I wasn't going to get a drink, everyone just walked around me. Dumb and unrealistic? Non-existent? Grow up? I couldn't believe he had said all those things, without even giving it a chance. This mission is definitely going to be more difficult than I first thought.